What if I told you that paying off your debt could actually be making you poorer, and that the responsible choice millions of people make every single day is quietly costing them a fortune? Yeah, we need to talk about this. Every week someone asks us, should I buy a rental property first or knock out my debt before I even think about investing? And look, we get it. Debt feels like a monster under the bed. And the idea of owning a rental while you still owe money feels like inviting that monster to a dinner party. Here's the thing though, not all debt is created equal. And treating a 3% mortgage the same way you treat a 22% credit card is like wearing a winter coat to the beach, because weather is weather. The math does not care about your feelings, and once you see it clearly, you can't unsee it. Let's say you're carrying a student loan at 5% interest, and someone offers you a rental property returning 8% cash on cash. You are literally being handed the spread on a silver platter. That gap between what debt costs you and what an asset earns you is called arbitrage. And wealthy people have been quietly exploiting it for generations, while the rest of us were being told to just pay everything off first. Now, to be fair, there was a moment, maybe 2019, maybe early 2020, when rates were so low and deals were so plentiful that everyone with a pulse was buying rentals and feeling like a genius. Then rates climbed, prices stayed stubborn, and suddenly the math got a whole lot harder to pencil out, which is exactly when doubt started creeping in and people started defaulting back to just kill the debt. The psychological weight of debt is real. Studies show that people report higher life satisfaction after paying off loans even when the financial outcome was suboptimal, which tells you that this debate isn't just about math, it's about sleep. But as the great Warren Buffett once implied, being comfortable is not the same as being wealthy, and confusing the two is an extremely common and extremely expensive mistake. Here's the historical truth. Though every single decade since the 1950s has produced real estate millionaires who were carrying debt while they built their portfolios, and not a single one of them waited until they were perfectly debt-free before making a move. The cycle repeats. Fear spikes, buying slows, inventory sits, and the people who stayed calm and kept buying while others froze end up owning the next generation of wealth. The misconception we need to destroy right now is that all debt is a liability in accounting terms. Your rental property's mortgage is actually the tenant's liability, not yours, because they're the ones paying it down every month through rent. You are not carrying that debt. Your tenant is. And the moment that clicks, the entire conversation shifts. So what's the actual playbook here? High interest consumer debt, anything above 7 or 8%, should absolutely be dealt with aggressively before you go buying assets, because no rental in a reasonable market is going to reliably beat a 20% credit card in the long run. But low interest debt, think car loans under 5%, mortgages under 6%, or student loans in that same zone, those are not emergencies. Those are chess pieces, and you can absolutely begin building a rental portfolio while managing them strategically. The key word there is strategically, not emotionally, not impulsively. You map the numbers, you stress test the deal, you make sure the rent covers the mortgage plus expenses with room to spare, and then you move with discipline. Position size matters enormously here. Don't dump your entire savings into one rental and leave yourself with zero cushion, because the moment the water heater dies in February and your tenant calls at 11 at night, you will need reserves or you will need therapy. Spread your risk, keep liquidity, and remember that a slightly smaller portfolio that lets you sleep at night beats an over-leveraged empire that gives you chest pains. The irony of this whole debate is that the people most afraid of buying rentals while in debt are often the same people who will casually finance a car that loses 30% of its value the second they drive off the lot. We are culturally comfortable with debt for things that go down in value and terrified of debt for things that go up. Sit with that absurdity for a second. At the end of the day, the scoreboard of wealth is not measured by how quickly you became debt-free. It's measured by net worth, cash flow, and the assets you've accumulated that keep working while you're asleep. Discipline, consistency, and smart sizing will always outperform the person who waited for perfect conditions that never came. And honestly, Whether you decide to attack the debt first or jump into a rental, as long as your decision is rooted in numbers and not fear, you're already ahead of 90% of people having this conversation. Rational preparation beats emotional reaction every single time. And either path, walked with intention, can absolutely change your financial life. If you're ready to stop debating and start doing, check out our links in the description below, where we can help you get started, whether you're looking at rental property investing, need home contracting work done, or want to connect with the right lenders.